Hello everyone and welcome to our first prediction sheet of the 2026 RLCS season. We're going to do NA and EU this week, but for this video it'll just be NA. Alright, so what'd you guys think after the Swiss, right? Kind of not too many shocking results. Maybe the biggest one was Dignitas missing. That's the Evo Aqua 5-up team. They got eliminated in round 5. That was probably the biggest one. I actually had put them on my honorable mentions list for my top 20 team list. So obviously that was kind of a miss from me. I'm sure those guys are feeling pretty bad about that result. Other than that, I don't think there was any other super surprising misses from the Swiss stage, but if you feel like there was a team you were expecting to make it to this point, let us know in the comments so we can at least, all feel bad together. So in Group A, we've got Space Station Gaming versus CL. Just as a reminder, Space Station is a new roster, reveal Chronic Diaz, and CL is Panda, Percy, and Knight. And Space Station went 3-0. Oh, perfect sweep. 3-0, 3-0, 3-0 against Lotus 8, Unreal Nightmare, and Top Le. And CL beat Gooey Schmooey, lost to Redacted, lost a close one to Team Silenced, beat Glowing Eric, and 3-1-1. To be honest, I don't remember what teams they are. I think this is probably Space Station over CL 3-0 sweep. I thought from the highlights I watched on Edit Tim's channel, I thought this was great. Also, by the way, if you want to do this, go to x.com/CodyVRL, and then there's a link at the very top of his bio. So thanks to Cody for putting this together as always. All right, Rebellion versus Gas. Now, Shopify Rebellion kind of had unexpected results for most of us. They lost to 100x35 Esports, who had a good Swiss. They played well, but the Shopify Rebellion team was like pretty clearly NA number 2 for almost everybody on our list. So this was kind of a shocking, that's not a good look, to not even take it to game 5. They did beat Feastabonium, Netherland, Americanada, and Team Silenced, but this series was really a little bit scary. And just as a reminder, Shopify Rebellion is the First Killer Kofor LJ roster, and Gas is Garrett G, AJ, and Squishy. They lost to NRG, but then swept 3P, 3-1 Kraken Seas, and 3-0 Directionless Passion. As much as I thought that Gas was looking pretty good, honestly, from the clips I saw of them, I do think Rebellion is still going to get the win here. I don't even know. I don't think I'm going to give them a game. I just feel like Rebellion's going to come out with a good game plan. Violent Panda's going to get these guys right. And we will get Space Station versus Rebellion, which is Chronic versus First Killer LJ. That's what I want to see, and that's actually what I predict to have happen here. 100x35 and Unreal NM. 100x35 is Crispy, CMOS, and Psy. And Unreal Nightmare is Drewy, Gyro, and Life. 100x35 also had the pretty big upset of Shopify Rebellion, so they're definitely feeling good about themselves. Unreal Nightmare beat Certified, got swept by Space Station, lost to Lotus 8, beat Woo, and beat Directionless Passion. I think for that reason, I give it a 3-1. I think these EU guys playing in CRL are going to keep being dangerous for the RLCS teams of NA, and this will continue. Lotus 8 is Expert, Nolly, and Wellis, so if you're a Nolly fan, that's your team to be watching. And Silenced is... Ooh, did I lose him here on there? Team Silenced is Resinal, Pigeon, and Lev. And I thought these guys looked really good, honestly, so I'm going to declare a minor upset and actually pick Silenced as the winner here. But as you can see, Lotus 8, where are they? Lotus 8 had a strong they lost to Space Station, but then they went on to beat Certified, Unreal Nightmare, and Top Le. Silenced lost to 1, beat Glowing Eric, beat CL, beat Next to New, and lost to Rebellion. I don't know. Maybe actually based on the Swiss results, Lotus 8 is a better pick here. Feels like a safer pick. I actually liked the way that Pigeon was moving, honestly. So I'm going to go ahead and put Silenced here. Maybe I am completely irrational, but that seems to be good. So then you got CL versus Gas. I like... I think I like Gas here to win. Unreal NM versus Lotus 8. I like Lotus 8 better. Unreal Nightmare. I think there's a little bit more experience on that Lotus 8 roster. That takes us to the uppers. We've got Space Station versus Rebellion. Based on what I've seen, I like Space Station here. They were playing a lot better, a lot cleaner, whereas Rebellion just seemed like they couldn't quite find each other on the pitch. There really wasn't a ton of cooperation in passing plays from what I was seeing when I rewatched it. I didn't watch it live. I had to rewatch it because, there's so many matches going on at once. I was trying to watch the NRG part live so I could see how those guys were looking. And then I was, watching some Edit Tim videos to make sure I was watching it, and then I watched some actual series. 100 by 35, Crispy CMOS Psy versus Silenced. I like 100 by 35 here, maybe 3-1. That puts Silenced and Gas down there. I like Silenced over Gas, maybe close series. I like Rebellion over Lotus 8. So that way, Space Station, 100 by 35, Silenced, and Rebellion go out of Group A. What do you guys think? Any bad picks in here? Anything you would select differently? You please let me know in the comments. All right, let's go Group B. And this one is a pretty deadly group here. So we've got Genji versus Foot. Genji, of course, is Justin, Magic Bear, and Rise now. Just a reminder that used to be Cheese. And then Foot is Cheese, Frosty, Sosa. And so we've got a little bit of a revenge roster match, right? Because Cheese is going to be playing against his team of Genji. Based on what I've seen, Genji played much, much better than Foot did. So I think this is going to pretty clearly go to to Genji, but I think Foot probably gets a game there. Because, it seemed like Foot was starting to put it together towards the end, but they did go a little bit scary all the way to Game 5 in Round 5. So Foot almost missed and became another team that I would be talking about as a big disappointment. Because I had them, I think I have them in my top 20. They're not high up there, but if this roster doesn't do much this open, I'm dropping them right out because what I saw in the first Swiss stage was a little bit scary for these guys. Shuffles Kittens and M80. Shuffles Kittens are Arju, Relating Wave, and Speed. Another EU kind of CRL roster dominating in RLCS NA a little bit. And M80 is Eris, Devo, and Mech. So let's look at how these guys did. So Shuffles Kittens beat Dignitas 3-2. That's probably their big win. Beat Chewy, and they've also swept Foot. And then M80 got lost to Genji, but beat GG Easy, Lil Step Bros, and Next to New. I do think Shuffles Kittens has better results and better experience here, so I'm going to take this 3-2 for Shuffle Kittens and throw M80 down to the lower bracket. Unfortunate for them, but I do think that's a better team. NRG versus Feastabonium. NRG was looking like they were playing without comms, right? Like it seemed like they were kind of just joking around, going for clips. They did drop a game, I believe. Yeah, they dropped a game against Gas in overtime. I remember watching that. A little bit trolling by them. They should be perfect sweeping that team. But, Gas is still a solid roster. Let's not act like they're not great at the game. Feastabonium, who is that roster? That is going to be Cosmic, Adam, I think is actually how you pronounce that, and Hazo. So solid team, but not quite NRG levels, of course. I've still got NRG as my number one team in the world, but they scared me a little bit when I was watching some of their plays this weekend. But I think they were just kind of having fun and joking around. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself. Feastabonium got swept by Rebellion and lost to Redacted. They did beat Sazon, Netherland, America, Canada, and Little Step Bros to qualify through. So solid job getting there, but just not quite enough. Let's look at Redacted versus Top Lay. Top Lay is Calm, Creams, and Parth. They were actually looking kind of nice, honestly, against some of these teams they were playing. And Top Lay is... Let me find it here. Sorry. Redacted is Wavy, Two Piece, and Talk. This is tough. I actually don't think I've seen any clips of them playing. So Top Lay beat Directionless Passion, 3-2 Foot, swept by Space Station, lost to Lotus 8, and swept Dignitas at the end. This is tough. And then Redacted, 3-1 next to New, 3-0'd CL, lost to Gen G, beat Feastabonium. Probably go Redacted here, but maybe Wavy, Two Piece, and Talk scare me a little bit. That's who the roster is, right? Yeah. Oh, it's another revenge game, right? Because you got Parth against Two Piece, so it's kind of like, who do you think plays better between Calm Creams and Wavy and Talk? I don't know. Top Lay was looking kind of good. I don't know. What do you guys think? This one's tough. I guess I'm gonna give it to Top Lay, actually. I'm gonna reverse. I think Top Lay looked a little bit better during Swiss. You guys let me know if I'm crazy for that. Foot versus M80. Now this one's a heartbreaker, right? Because we gotta love both these rosters, both these teams, and want the best for them. I do think Foot has the skill diff to push M80 out here, so I'm gonna give it a 3-1 for Foot to advance through to the next lower. And then Feastabonium versus Redacted. I do think Redacted has the skill set to do it, but I think they're going to make it a little bit scary, so I'm going to go 3-2. Even though I had them as an honorable mention for my top 20 in the world preseason rankings, I do think I haven't seen too much from them that makes me think that they're going to breeze through this. Gen G versus Shuffle Kittens. I do like Gen G here. I do think they probably drop a game. Energy versus Top Lay. I don't think they drop a game against Top Lay, but probably not after that. So I do think Energy is going to 3-0 twice to get through. Top Lay versus Foot. We've actually seen this, and Top Lay won, so I'm going to go for the inverse. And you're like, well, Top Lay already beat them. Well, I'm going for the inverse. I'm going for these guys kind of proving that they can learn and do better. And actually, you know what? I'm going to reverse again. Sorry, I am all over the place today. I'm going to put Top Lay over Foot and then have Foot go out early and this be kind of a painful one for them. Sorry, guys. I thought this Top Lay team was actually looking pretty nice. Shuffles Kittens versus Redacted. I think I like Shuffles Kittens here over Redacted based on what I've seen. Maybe it's a close one. And that's also going to put that Angels, two-piece, Wavy, Talk roster out. So unfortunately, Foot and Wavy, Angels, sorry, oh my gosh, Wavy, two-piece, and Talk, I have them not qualifying through. Would like to see them qualify through, but just based on how these rosters look, I think Gen G, Energy, Top Lay, and Shuffles Kittens were the top 4 teams, and that's how my bracket broke out. So let's talk about the playoffs now. Playoffs? All right. Lower round 1. Rebellion versus Top Lay. I do expect Rebellion to be making a pretty strong run through the lowers. I like them better there. Shuffles Kittens versus Silence Gaming. I do think Shuffles Kittens does better here. Maybe a 4-2. Space Station versus NRG. I like NRG. I do think Space Station has what it takes to take some games. Sorry, I'm kind of speed running through, but I've been thinking I don't want these videos to be like longer than 15 minutes, and I have a habit of doing that. So I think I kind of went longer when I was explaining what I thought about each team, and now in the playoffs I can go a little bit faster. Gen G versus 100 by 35. Now I do think 100 by 35 played extremely well. I do think Gen G is a better team, so I think that I'm going to put a 4-1 there and have Energy and Gen G advance to the top 4 from the uppers. Space Station Rebellion, I did like Space Station better than Rebellion. I think this one might go all the way. Rebellion just didn't look good, man. They didn't look good. So yeah, I'm going to have them going out here top 6. Sorry guys. I think there's totally a world where this team wins, but I just didn't see anything that was really giving me a lot of confidence. 100 by 35 versus Shuffle Kittens. Am I really going to put Shuffle Kittens into the top 4 spot? Ugh, I think I have to. My bracket stinks, man. Like, why did it shake out this way? Couldn't this team's getting like the most easy bracket of all time. But let's have like a little EU showdown here. And then finally, NRG can stomp out Shuffle's Kittens. Maybe they give one game up and then go on to win. Gen G versus Space Station. I'm based on how I was seeing Space Station playing, I'm really feeling how those guys are looking. I think this is a pretty close match still. Maybe 4-3. But honestly, I'm thinking like we might see an NRG Space Station. I was really liking how Chronic, Diaz, and Reveal were playing, and I think there's a good chance that they beat this Rebellion team. I do think NRG, just with a little bit more skill per player and a little bit more coordination per player, has what it takes to win this. So I don't expect it to be too close. Maybe 4-1 for NRG, but I think Space Station's going all the way there. You guys think I'm wrong? Do you expect Rebellion to make it all the way to the grand final or to win? Let me know in the comments. Would love to hear your thoughts. But maybe I'm being a little bit too emotionally based on my decision making, but honestly, I wasn't too impressed by how Rebellion was playing, and I was impressed with how Space Station was playing. And I think based on, the results kind of reflect that in the Swiss. So let me know what you think, and let's see how accurate I am. I'll go through and do a recap video. I was really hoping to see Dignitas qualify through, like I said earlier, but they weren't able to make it, unfortunately for them. So hopefully they can kind of regame off of that and have some strong Open 2 and Open 3 results. I do hope that Shopify Rebellion gets top 6. Actually, you know what? The thing is, these matches are actually all going to take place in EU, so maybe that will change people's results. But for now, I'm going to keep these as my prediction, and then maybe we'll do another prediction again once we've seen the group stages play out. So if you'd like to see more RLCS analysis, commentary, my own personal opinion on it, please subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it. Most importantly to me, leave a comment on what your thoughts were, and would love to read it. And let me know, do I have Shuffle Kittens going top 4? Is that a bad pick? Let me know. I think they got a blessed bracket based on my results here, but would love to hear everyone's thoughts. So stay tuned. The EU version of this should probably come out tomorrow. I think I'll work on it. So thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and chat soon. Bye.